I'm trying to tell somebody to be prayerful. Even with the folk that don't like you, pray for them. Even if it's the folk that you don't like, pray for them. Some of y'all acting too super spiritual for me today. Can I be honest, and can I get some honest folk in here to be honest and say, you got some folk you can't stand. You got some folk that you only love them because God said you gotta love them. But the truth is you can't stand their guts. But even those folk, God says pray for them. That's what God is telling Israel. I heard Jesus say pray for your enemies. I heard him say do good to them. I hear him saying love them. I hear him saying if they're thirsty, give them something to drink. Oh, y'all don't, if they're hungry, give them something to eat. If they're cold, y'all don't hear me, give them some clothes to wear. We got to learn how to love our enemies. Anybody hearing what I'm saying today? You're going to have some enemies, but your blessing depends on how you deal with your enemies. Even when God is your shepherd, he may lead you and guide you and direct you and provide for you. But even David says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. David goes on to say that God will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. You need to learn how to treat your enemies right. Because God said if you're trying to go to the next level, sometimes he'll use your enemies as your footstool. Anybody know what a footstool can do? You might be on this level. You got an enemy to deal with, but trust God. If you love that enemy, if you pray for that enemy, if you do good to that enemy, God will use that enemy to elevate you to the next level. But when you get to the next level, you're going to have a brand new devil. You better learn how to love on them. You better learn how to treat them. You better learn how to feed them. You better learn how to pray for them, because God will use that devil to get you on to another level. Is there anybody in here? I said, is there anybody in here? Is there anybody in here know how to pray for your enemies? That's what God is telling Israel. Even though you're in that city, you better pray for that city. Pray for the peace of that city, because God says when I bless them, I'm really trying to get a blessing for you. Can I go back to the 60s real quick? Y'all look at Martin Luther King, and we call him a civil rights leader. Well, he was way more than a civil rights leader. He was a man of God. He was a preacher of the word of God. He was a pastor, if you will. Somebody ought to hear me. And everything he did in protest, he first did in prayer. I don't mind you protesting, but make sure before you go protest, you fall down on your knees. Come on, y'all. Pray for your enemies. Paul told Timothy in the pastoral epistle that you ought to pray for those in authority. You got to know the context of what Paul is saying. He was telling Timothy to pray for those who were oppressing him. Pray for those who were dogging him out. Pray for those that were trying to keep him down. God knows what he's doing, y'all. Because when you pray for your enemy, God will use your enemy to bless you. I got one.